Hey guys, Mike Ellenis coming here with another episode of Truth for Today, TFT. Today's verse is Genesis chapter 21, verse 1. The word says this: "The Lord kept his word and did for Sarah exactly what he had promised." Now, if you're not familiar with the context here, you have Abraham and Sarah, this couple that are very, very old. They walk very close with God, and they had seen God do some amazing things for them and their family. However, they could not conceive a child, and there's a lot of text to read about the things that they tried, and that Sarah was just barren, and there was just no child to be born. Now, previously to this verse, God promised them that there would be a child, and that all of the blessing promised to Abraham would be fulfilled through this child. Now, Abraham and Sarah were both past their prime, and even in their prime were not able to conceive. And there were two different occasions, one where Abraham laughed when God made this promise. This is Abraham, the guy who has just seen God do amazing things, walked intimately with him, and yet he laughed at God when God made the promise. Sarah, actually, in a separate incident, she laughed at the promise of God as well. And it was just crazy to see how, even though they had had all this faith, they saw where God made a promise and they laughed at him because it was just so far from reality and so different than everything that they had experienced that they just didn't see it happening, even with God. Now, I think it's really cool that despite their doubt and despite the way that they tried to make the promise come about in their own way, you'll have to read about that yourself with Ishmael. Even though those things happened, the word says God kept his word and did for Sarah exactly what he promised. Now, my question for you today is, we know that God hasn't changed. He's still powerful. His word is full of promises that are applicable to you and me both. So my question for you again here is, what is it that he has promised you that may seem so far from your current reality that you may laugh about it, or you just flat out think there is absolutely no way it's going to happen? Or maybe you try to make it happen on your own terms and you've failed. Whatever that thing is, it could be one or multiple promises. I encourage you to be patient and to look for God's activity. There are so many times where he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, and we just miss it because we're too busy focused on something else, or we just our eyes just aren't open enough to see exactly what he's doing. I encourage you to pray for understanding and to press through in your faith to claim the promises that God has declared for your life. Just like Abraham and Sarah, these people couldn't conceive. Then they were too old to conceive, even if previously they hadn't had a problem, and yet Isaac, the son, was born, and God did exactly what he promised to do. Now, I hope that this truth for today has blessed your life, and I will see you next time.